Hi and welcome to this tutorial based on Maps, which will be available and pre-installed on your Apple device. Now this particular Maps is Apple Maps that we're going to be showing you today. There is the ability to use Google Maps and both run pretty similar. This, however, has turn-by-turn navigation, which is absolutely fantastic if it is that you've got lost out there in the field. So all I'm going to do to start off with is show you how to use the app itself, the navigation of it, get a feel for it, and then how to find directions and also sat navigation. So to start off with, just going to click on my app for Maps, and you'll see that straight away it's going to load up into United Kingdom. But more importantly, if I wanted to, I could just breeze around the world and have a quick look. Like so. Really, really smooth. I'm going to stick with the UK. Now at the bottom here you'll notice that there's this little kind of pulling, kind of like a little tear within the screen, and that's deliberate. This allows you to change what you're seeing on screen. So you may be wanting to go from looking at a standard map, which is what we're looking at the moment, to a satellite map, so make it more detailed. Maybe you need to see what a place looks like, etc. So if I just literally roll that with my finger, you'll notice that I have the ability to be able to change things. So I could go, for example, into satellite, and then straight away I've got the United Kingdom in my satellite view, and away we go. There are others in there as well, like the ability to drop a pin. Dropping a pin literally allows you to then go back into Maps at a later date and view very quickly where you put that pin, so if you were saving an address to remember later on and stuff like that. But there are other ways to do it. You could do it with the one finger by holding down, and it does exactly the same process, and I'll show you that in a moment. Thing is though, this is kind of loaded up to the United Kingdom, and well, I'm in Crewe right now, so let's see what Crewe looks like on this screen. Down at the bottom here I've got two little buttons. One will say 3D, which is blanked out at present because I haven't searched for anything, and that will highlight in a moment. And the other one is a little arrow, and that allows me to find my location. If I click on that once, it'll ask me if I would allow it to find me, and I want to click OK, and then straight away there we are. Now it's using GPS in the field as well. It will use 3G and GPS. The 3G will load the data. Obviously GPS will search for where your location is. And you can see it's just slightly pulsating. If I was to go in a little bit and zoom in a little bit more, look how crystal quality that screen is. You can really see the detail. And it's found us exactly where we are here at the Crewe Trading Centre. Really easy to use. Now, let's say that I wanted to search for a particular area or a town or a city. I have obviously the search option up in the top right hand corner here, and this works in multiple different ways. It's a learning application, so the more that you use it, the more that it memorises, loads pages a lot quicker and loads parts of the maps a lot more efficiently. So it's well worth having a play with this and just having a look around different places and towns. For example, at the moment, if I was to type in, let's just go and fly for a little bit and go to New York City, it's going to pin drop and find New York City for me. And again, I can just pinch and zoom like I did before, and it will automatically load that up. And here we are, New York. Now that's pretty crazy what's going on the screen at present. So if I was to go back into my standard view, this would then allow me to view streets and information, bus stops, etc. And again, the more you use it, the more information it will populate. Like so, museums, etc. So there you go, that's how you use it. Basically, that's the navigation of it. And as you can see, you can turn it around as well. Really easy to use, very, very intuitive. I'm just going to go back and delete where I've just been. And what I'm going to do is now look for a postcode. So I'm going to pick just a random postcode out of top of my head, which is a Stoke-on-Trent postcode, just to have a look and see what we can find. So you can see I've typed in a postcode there. I'm just going to click search, and immediately it's found that for me. It knows exactly where it is. Very, very easy. If I go back to satellite, that will allow me to see what it looks like. Quite Victorian. There we go. And if I went hybrid, that would then put the roads back on the satellite system for you, so you get the best of both worlds at the same time. Now there is a 3D button that's appeared, so if I was to go down, I'm just going to take hybrid off and go back to satellite for a second, and if I go 3D, you'll notice that that then changes the dynamic slightly and allows me to kind of just do a flyover, like so. However, if I was to go back and go for New York again in the United States, and I'm just going to double tap to zoom in a little bit, double tap again and double tap, or I can pinch and zoom like so. You can see here that the button has actually changed, and that's because on certain cities and certain parts of the world, maps will actually show you a 3D rendered version known as a flyover. So if I was to click what was the 3D button, which now looks like buildings, and just click that very quickly, you'll notice that as I zoom in, the buildings actually become 3D themselves, allowing me to do a flyover. This is more of a gimmick than anything else, but it's good to have a play around with and get used to. Last but not least, there's also directions. So for example, in the top left hand corner we have a directions button here, and if I was to select that, I've got my current location because it knows exactly where I am, and I'm just going to type in that previous postcode that I was using before for a Stoke-on-Trent address, which isn't too far away from where we are. Now at the top I've got car, person or public transport, allowing you to use this wherever and anywhere. For the moment I'm going to stick with car. I'm just going to go route. Up comes the safety warning to stipulate not to use whilst driving. Probably best to set it beforehand, but it's a great little warning there. And if I click OK, you can see that it started at one end and straight to the other and give me 3 different possible routes. At this present point I'm going to take route 1, but if I wanted to take a different route, I have the ability to just click on that route and it changes it straight over, as you can see. Now in the bottom left hand corner where I've got the 3D button, there is one additional button that's appeared, and that's called list, and that gives you a kind of like paper document like you would expect to get from the RAC online or the AA, allowing you to just do a quick turn by reading. Or if you feel it a little bit more fancy or you needed more visual and audio description, just like a standard sat-nav, if I click the start button,
starting route to 418 Shelton New Road, head northwest on Mallard Court.
and as you can see that kicks in straight away. The interesting thing is as I then move around, that will then do a turn by turn, as you would expect from any advanced satellite navigation system. And there you go, that's Maps, really user friendly and quite fun to use. Have a go.